International Institute of Hotel Management is one of the largest private hospitality institutes that imparts world-class education and can firmly pride itself for being one of the most foremost academic institutions of the country that offer globally recognized international degrees in hotel management. The hugely popular events that they host IIHM International Young Chef Olympiad. As the last dish is plated, they can only wait till the evening for the verdict to be pronounced.
Malaysia!
IIHM as an institute has always been able to define its core objectives clearly over the years. It is an institution that has always worked towards causes that give back to the society. IIHM proudly and aptly calls them food soldiers, a dynamic group of students working tirelessly to ensure a hunger-free world.
Hotel management. Hotel plus management. At IIHM, the education is like doing a BBA plus hospitality. Because at IIHM, we train our students to become global business hospitality managers. In one hand, they are full of knowledge in hospitality, charismatic, and they have got the study skills of very hardcore management subjects like finance, strategic HR, global marketing, and a whole range of the management inputs.
IIHM. For a great hospitality career, call 98310 50,000.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our another session from IIHM Delhi Studio. I am Maitri Dhingra, a second-year student from International Institute of Hotel Management, New Delhi.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you all are very excited for today's session. I am Divyam Suri, a second-year student of International Institute of Hotel Management, New Delhi.
So, Divyam, can you please tell the audience about our guest of honor for today?
Certainly. So today we are honored to have with us Mr. Abhinav Malik. He is the resident manager at the British High Commission, India.
Wow, Divyam, Mr. Abhinav Malik. I've heard a lot of things about him. He started his career with Oberoi Hotels as guest service associate, and later on moved to London for his post-graduation. And along with that, he managed to complete his management training program from Marriott Hotels, London. And then, when he moved back to India, he worked with many great brands in India as well. For example, the Leela Palace, the Imperial Group, and the Hyatt Hotels as front office manager. Over to you, Divyam.
Wow, that's great knowing that. So, Mr. Malik, we would like to know your views on our topic of the day, which is importance of front office accounting. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, everyone at IIHM for giving me the opportunity to be part of this question session, I would say, today, accounting in front office. It's a pleasure speaking to you all and seeing that hospitality is reaching spaces and corners, and seeing the students doing such events, because when I did my IHM, I can see the second year students giving my introduction. I was in second year in 2003, and just after my internship at the Taj Palace, New Delhi. And at that time, we couldn't even think of such kind of an event happening. So it really pleases me to see where the industry has reached, and I can be very well assured that you guys will be having a great future, seeing the confidence and the way you are heading this event. So lovely to see that. Coming back to my topic, accounting in front office, that's a very major and a vital part in the hotel itself, because after all, it is business, definitely. We do talk about taking care of our guests, having a pleasing face when they arrive. But all in all, in the end, it is business in the market. And if the money keeps coming in, that's how the business runs. That's how the hotel pays its bills. And that is how, the staff gets its salaries. And it is not easy to run such a massive building because electricity bills, water bills, gas bills, transportations, maintaining of hotel fleets, uniforms, reshuffling of uniforms, washing, linen, all of this needs money. And the money, of course, comes through front office billings, food and beverage billings, and there is payroll. So all of this happens through an accounting system. Now, the topic today is front office accounting. I just wanted to let you guys know how front office gets into all of this web, which I just mentioned to you. Coming to front office, since you guys must be knowing by now, and if not, I'll try and keep it as in easy terms as possible. And please feel free to question if you wish. How does front office accounting works? Front office accounting is basically starts when the interaction with the guest happens and the reservation is being picked up. And once the reservation is in the system, that reservation needs to be confirmed or guaranteed. By saying confirmed or guaranteed means that yes, the guest who is expecting to come and stay with us, or the person who is making the reservation on behalf of the guest, he is giving you a confirmed method of payment. It could be a credit card number, or it could be a deposit of cash in advance, or it can be a transfer into the hotel's bank account, just so that you know that, yes, we have got the money for this booking. The booking can be in the future, the booking can be next day, or it can be 3 months afterwards of the day of reservation when it is being made. But yes, you know that the money is in. So bringing in that money, showing it in that reservation on your system is where the accounting comes in. Now, if the money is being put into the bank account of the hotel, then how does that comes into your reservation, so that when the guest arrives, do you have to ask him for a swipe of the credit card there and then? Do you know if you have to take pre-authorization, which is like a block on the credit card of that guest staying, so that after the block, when the guest is checking out, you can release the money and put that money in your hotel's bank account, or if you're supposed to ask cash. So all of these instructions come to you through that accounting system itself. Now, the accounting, of course, in the front office comes under software. I believe you must have heard about it. 99% it is being used in hotels. It's called Opera, and Opera keeps getting upgraded. It's a Windows-based system. So once the reservation is there in Opera, you have all the details. If you have a credit card, then your reservation system who's taken in the booking, they will leave billing instructions for the person who is taking the check-in on arrival. What kind of method of payment have to take from this guest on check-in, be it payment on arrival by credit card or cash deposit, things like that. And when you have this thing in your system, during the stay, it is expected from the front office team to make sure that hotel is always in credit regarding that reservation. Because see, once the guest is in, you are supposed to have some amount or a specific amount to be held on the credit card in that reservation, which covers up the number of stay nights. Every hotel has a limit of how much a spend can be made in their hotel. So some hotels set a limit of say 5,000 per day, or some hotels like luxury hotels in Delhi or other metropolitan cities, they set it to be like 10,000 a day. So considering all of these aspects, you have to hold that money on that credit card. And then there is a limit to be checked twice a day if the hotel has a policy, or maybe once every night by the night auditor, that is the hotel in credit or is the hotel not in credit? I mean to say that, have you given the guest the number of facilities so much that now you have given more facilities, but the money that you have in your hand on their credit card is less? So, this is also something which accounting helps you. So this is where the credit limit check comes in. That's a different topic altogether. There is one question which I believe I'll be picking up later, so I'll give a little more brief on that. So once the stay is gone and the guest departure date arrives, obviously at the time of checkout, a bill has been printed. And when the bill has been presented to the guest checks, is the room rate fine? Are the applied taxes correct as well? Is the address details correct on it? Because sometimes hotel stays are sponsored by the companies. People are not paying for themselves. So in that case, for GST purpose and tax claiming purpose, you have to have a correct address on it. Once this bill has been checked, the guest returns it to the checkout taking associate, and then the payment is being processed on the billing method which has been agreed on arrival. Guest has the opportunity to change that as well if he wishes, but yes, that has to be communicated. And then the payment is being taken. In case, yes, apart from credit card, the other method of payment which a guest may want to opt is cash. Now, if somebody is using cash, obviously you need to, or the government or the tax authorities need to know where that money came in from. So there is a limit of a certain amount. I remember when I was working in hotels, I have not been in hotels for the last 4 years now. That time the limit was 49,000. So if any bill is under 49,000, then a PAN card is not needed. But yes, if the billing is above 49,000, then a PAN card is needed as well, just so that if the tax authorities wish to check, they can do their things. Now, sometimes, a majority of the times, the person might not be carrying his PAN card. So in that case, you can have a form 16 filled up by that guest and take a photographic ID, which anyways you would have taken at the time of arrival. So that is like, something to cover up if you don't have a PAN card. That covers up the details which are there on the PAN card. Once this billing is done, now the hotels are going paperless. So there are provisions of sending them the bill on email. If the guest insists or wishes to have it as a print, you are supposed to give it to the guest. Signatures, of course, are imperative for accounting purpose. And once all of these formalities are done, that's when the guest leaves. And coming back to the cashier, the bills, of course, have to be sent back to your finance department, or I would say, to be going very specific, night auditor is the person who checks the bill is correctly done or not, because the segregations have to happen. I don't know if you guys know that whenever we swipe a credit card with any vendor, just going off topic a little bit, it's not just hotels, any place, any shop, anywhere where you swipe your credit card. So all the credit card swipes that have happened during the day, those credit card swipes are the credit which comes back into their bank account of that commercial entity entrepreneur the next day. That's how the money comes into their bank account. So again, coming to our topic, the credit card swipes that have been taken on the reception, those bills are verified by the night auditor in the night, because next day this money is going to be coming into the bank account of the hotel. So the night auditor prepares that report mentioning that this is the amount we'll get in from American Express, this much from MasterCard, this much from Visa, then there's Maestro, there's RuPay card nowadays as well, Diners, all of these various cards. And then there's other money things as well, like bank transfers and things. So that's where the accounts finance department comes into the accounting bit. I guess this is more or less being covered from the check-in of the guest, from the stay to the checkout, how the accounting things happen. Any questions anybody has until now, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, I have some questions which I will then start picking up. Please feel free to ask if there's anything except those questions, please.
Very well said, sir. I must say, spoken by the expert himself. So I have a question for you, if you must state. Can you please tell me how front office accounting is different from any other form of accounting?
See, front office accounting more or less is not much different from any other accounting, because if we talk about any other accounting in any other organization, as far as it is customer facing, accounting won't be that different, because dealing with the guest will be through same process channels, credit card, cash, bank transfers. These days we've got Paytm and Bharat Pay, all these QR code payments which are happening. So it's not that different, but yes, back of the house accounting can be different, and I'll tell you how very briefly. Some hotel chains these days are international hotel chains like Marriott or Hyatt. These are owner driven chains. So the property is owned by an owner, but the management is of the running company like Marriott or Hyatt or Radisson. So in those properties, the accounting would be different because you have to make sure that you're explaining it to the owner what has been the business on books and to the management also. So these hotels would have a different accounting compared to the self-owned properties like ITC and Taj. They have their own properties, so they may have different. This is something in the back of their accounting, which would be different. But if we consider about front office, not much change is there. And this is I would like to say about the differentiation question that you asked.
Very, very rightly said, sir. Sir, could you please suggest some ways to stop fraudulent accounting in front office?
Sure. Fraudulent accounting is quite sensitive. See, we keep hearing about different frauds happening. It's happening in a customer serving environment. There is a possibility because people are giving us their cards for payment. There are moments when you hand your credit card to someone, and if it is away from your eyesight, how that is being handled is a problem. So hotels, when I was working, of course, we had been made very clear that whenever you are dealing or accepting a credit card or a debit card from a guest, and the card has all the 16-digit numbers with its expiration date and the CVV number on the back mentioned, and you have access to that card in your hand, the card should never be off sight of its actual holder. If you are writing down the details of that card, they should be noted down in the guest's presence. Now, there was one time, not many years ago, but I would say 7-8 years ago, when we were given the opportunity to write down the credit card number, all 16 digits, on the registration card itself. But due to the fraudulence that were happening, it was being made very clear that at no point anybody is supposed to write credit card numbers, which is visible. So the only way now possible was that the credit card number is entered into the system. That means Opera onto the reservation. And once the credit card number was entered, all the 16 digits, and you press the entry key, the credit card number is like masked. So you would see XXX 12 times and then only the last 4 digits. And if anybody wishes to see all the digits, that person was supposed to have a managerial password or a supervisor's password at least. So this is how, one way of ensuring that if somebody is giving the credit card at the time of check-in on the desk, you never know. The person standing next could be a fraudster, trying to see your credit card number details, and it can be a possibility like that. So coming back to our topic, how to avoid these fraudulent things, be very sure if you are handling credit card details from a guest, you only deal with the person who you are receiving and retrieving it with. Whatever details you need, you put it in the system. Do not write them down anywhere else, because if in case you miss that paper and the paper goes into someone's hands who is not supposed to have that details, he can misuse them. And always ensure that whenever you're taking a check-in, have the photographic government ID being taken. You must have an address proof with you, because photographic IDs without an address can be made anywhere and everywhere. People can give you their membership card of their gym or something. These are not photographic government approved IDs. A government approved photo ID is the one which has your address. So it has to be probably an Aadhaar card or a driver's license or a passport. I may have missed 1 or 2 others, but these are the major ones that one must take whenever you are taking someone in your hotel for check-in. I already mentioned if you're taking cash payments. So in that case, if it is above the limit nowadays, you must take a PAN card. If PAN card's not there, then you should take Form 16. And one thing I would also want to say is, to give an exceptional service, sometimes I have seen during my days in hotels, staff, used to go over and above and help the guest by, I'll give you a situation which happened in front of my eyes once. There was a guest whose debit card was not working because it was an international debit card, because the bank for which the debit card that guest had was on strike at that time. And that guest wanted to send some online gift, probably flowers as well. So they were not able to do that. And they were about to catch a flight and they wanted to do this transaction before leaving. So one of the staff member, I recall, stepped forward and said, I will give you my credit card to make this payment. And why don't you give me cash in exchange by an ATM machine, which is in the hotel itself. So at one way, you can see that the person was trying to help. But see, you are getting yourself involved in doing this act by bringing in your card. That is something which I would personally not advise, because you are giving your credit card to somebody to send something to someone who you don't know, God knows where. So this could be, some sort of a fraudulent activity. So if you don't know what your card is being used for, and if you are kind of hesitant, please don't try to, step into that. You tried your best, but if the bank's on strike, you can't really help. So, that's something which the guest will have to manage somehow. If they really wanted to send something, they could have found some sort of contact. So this one is example I wanted to bring in about fraudulent accounting in this question. Next one, please.
Correctly said, sir. So last but not the least, I would like to ask you about that you could explain us about the credit control system.
See, credit control system is, of course, pretty important. Credit control, what I would say means is that in all the hotels, not everybody comes directly to the hotel. Some people come from an organization, and their bookings are not to be settled by the person who's staying, but through their company. So as a front office team member, one has to ensure that your paperwork is complete. You have received an email from the sales team person who is the relationship manager of that organization, that yes, this person's reservation from this date to this date for this type of room category with this meal plan is being agreed with the company. And the email that you have received is the supporting to settle that billing. Because once the guest will check out, you will be able to only close that bill through a process called City Leisure. City Leisure would only be approved if your hotel's finance team has given a credit approval to that company and they have a settlement mode in your system. Unless that does not exist, you will not be able to settle that guest. And then the person taking checkout, if he does not follow this process, then it becomes the responsibility of that person, and in fact the front office team, to get that payment either through sales team or the person who stayed directly. So having this credit control on system is very, very important. And I would recommend, once you guys are in the hotels and the departures happen mostly during the day, afternoon shift or the night shift, once majority of check-ins have happened, should see that the billings that are going to happen next day and are on City Leisure method of payment, do you have complete supportings for them? And does your system have the checkout window created from your finance? If not, you have got full authority to involve the salesperson telling that I do not have these details. The guest may have an unpleasant departure because I will have to ask him for payment directly. So you should liaise with the finance team and get the City Leisure billing created for this person's company, or explain it to the guest that he will be presented the bill and he will have to pay us directly through him.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time. It was a very informative session, and we hope to discuss many more topics with you in future.
Great. It was a pleasure answering to your questions. I hope I was able to help and explain it the way everybody would have been able to understand. Thank you once again for inviting me to be on this platform, and all the best to you all.
Thank you so much, sir.
Goodbye.
This is Abhinav signing off along with my partner, Betri Tika. Thank you guys. Really.